Hello, my name is Carlos Dominguez, and today I'll be talking about cognitive development theory and the zone of proximal development. I will start off today with cognitive development theory by Piaget. The theory of cognitive development. He believed that children need a mental map of their surroundings with experience in their interactions. So basically what he's saying here is that children go out there and explore things, and with their interactions they sort of do like a map in their head on how to resolve problems and how to socialize and to figure out so many stuff. Then he talked about genetic epistemology, sorry if I didn't say that right, which is the origins of knowledge and thinking. Then he went into schemas, and what he's saying is these are building blocks that are organized learning. So he is referring to schemas as some blocks that the kids build upon themselves in their life and in their educational path. So once they start building up on them, they start to learn, and the experience that they get will eventually help them out later on in problem solving. So then we go to assimilation and accommodation, which are adaptation to the real world. Either they assimilate things or they accommodate to things. So basically a definition for that will be using the existing schema for a new situation. So that new schema could be problem solving. So they will have to adapt to a new problem they face, so they have to assimilate to that problem. And then accommodation will be an existing schema no longer works and needs improvement or adaptation. So if they had a schema about something and it will no longer help them out in the problem, they will have to improve it or adapt to that. So then it also has equilibration, the drive to learn a new process through assimilation and accommodation. So in order to find an equilibrium in a new process, the child will have to go through assimilation and or accommodation in order to achieve that. Then we go into the stages of development. So then he starts off from birth to age 2. That will be the sensory motor stage. And he believed that at this age, a child will develop the object permanence. So this is, if a child is playing with the ball and the parent comes and covers the ball, the child will know that the ball is still there even though there's something covering it. Then we move on to the pre-operational stage, that is from age 2 to 7, and children start to symbolize things that just being a single object. So a great example that was given is that a child will use a broom thinking he's a cowboy and the broom is a horse. So now the child knows that the broom itself is still a broom, but now he assimilates it to a horse. So now he has two definitions to the broom. Then we go to from 7 to 11, where children can now solve things in their head than physically. This meaning that, let's say in a math problem, the kid now can think about it in their head instead of jotting it down on a paper. And lastly will be the formal operational stage, that is from age 11 to adulthood. And this is can think abstractly and test a hypothesis, which means that now they're thinking more advanced, and if they have questions, they can now test their hypotheses. Okay, so now we're going to move on into the zone of proximal development, which is by Vygotsky. Sorry if I didn't say that right. So basically the definition of this will be the distance between the level of the independent work and how much guidance needed from an adult. To break this down, it means that how much of a gap is between the level of knowledge of a student and how much the adult is actually helping him. So for this, we'll know how much sorry, let me think about this, is, let me find the right words. How much a student knows how to do independently than from having the help of an adult. So now we move into scaffolding, which is an example a student will use in order to be guided into mastering a task. So that example is someone. It could be a teacher, a parent, or something that will guide them to solve a task because they are a more knowledgeable other. So the more knowledgeable other will be someone who you do the act of scaffolding with. So you see how they do it, and then the student or son or whoever will eventually try it again and succeed alone doing that problem. So in order to do effective scaffolding, it should be making the task interesting and simple while demonstrating how to get the results striving for. So in order for the more knowledgeable other to make the scaffolding successful, they have to make the task simple, something that a kid will get, well, depends on the age, and interesting for them to not lose their thought. And for this, they did a study of the dollhouse. This study was made to compare Piaget's theory and Vygotsky's. They both got samples, and results showed that working with a more knowledgeable other had a better result. Then, going back to Piaget's, saying that a kid doing it by itself will learn more. So this comparison showed that the zone of proximal development, it's more successful than the cognitive development of Piaget's. This goes into also the knowledge through social interaction. So the teacher observes and works with the student so the student achieves good results. So this is just supervision of an adult over the student while the student is working, so the student knows that he has the support of a more knowledgeable person. Then it goes into reciprocal teaching, the learning through text to summarize, clarify, and predict. So this works, so the teacher will work with the student into learning through the text in order to teach the student how to summarize, do clarification, and do predictions from what the student already read. and also collaborative learning is put into the zone of proximal development, because you are having groups with different levels of ability so everyone can help each other. So what we're looking into is how it could be they could be different groups with different kids with different levels of ability. So if the higher ability student could help the lower one, it will be a collaborative work, and that will help them out for both to learn and the other to teach. Okay, so I think this will be all, and I hope you liked it. Thank you.